Primate. So I guess if you saw my other theater review, you have my general thoughts on the movie as a whole right now. Look, I wasn't going into this looking for Shakespeare. They say, put was it 100 monkeys in the room, eventually they'll type Shakespeare. Like I'm not expecting the greatest movie in the world. All I was expecting was a killer chimp killing a bunch of people. That's exactly what I got. I can't simplify it more than that. But look, and it's not like I can really go into detail about the plot. It's exactly what you think. A family chimp who was brought and raised by their mom and dad, who were one's a writer, the other was a linguistics professor, taught him sign language. And that, look, people say, who has a pet chimp? It's well, it's not really a pet in this traditional sense, okay? Um, and so he gets bit by apparently a rabid mongoose, and he goes nuts, and he starts killing people. That is your movie. And look, for a killer animal movie, that's really all you need. That's really all you need. You don't need to be going into any sort of philosophical understanding of the human condition, or are we really the monsters? It's but no, or trying to save Ben. No, the chimp's rabid. They start off the movie with a doctor going to try to check on Ben, the chimp, and it's 36 hours. They have this prologue about hydrophobia and what is now known as rabies. If it's not treated in 48 hours, you're done. It's 36 hours in. No, there's no way you're saving Ben, because even if you were to somehow cure him of the rabies, he's taken human life. So there's no way you could actually, there's no way this chimp's making it out of this movie one way or the other. And like I said, the first 10 minutes of the movie are a bit rough. You know what? I'd even go so far as say the first 20 minutes are kind of rough, because we're trying to get to know these characters. I don't care about the characters that much, except for the dad and the daughters to some degree, because the dad is deaf. They do make a note of that, which would make sense under why another reason as to why the chimp knows sign language, and why they know sign language, because he knows sign language, and I think he's actually the guy from It was nominated for an Oscar. I think he was the dad in that movie where it's the fishermen, but they're all deaf except for the daughter. And I'm forgetting the name of the movie. It was we won a couple Oscars. So I think he was the dad in that. So it's great to actually see legitimate deaf actors getting more work. They're the only characters I kind of cared about to whatever varying degree. And you know what? To be fair, I didn't hate the friends, the two friends they had. I didn't hate them at all. But they're not there to make it. They're there for fodder, if we're going to be honest. So yeah, up until Ben actually starts killing people, it's a bit of a not hard watch. It's just a bit of a rough sit, because the dialogue isn't the best. But once you get into the Killer Chimp movie, it works great as a Killer Chimp movie. And I have seen one or two Killer Chimp movies before. What the film actually does very well is it's not like it's a tiger or something like that. It's gone right. It's not like it's a natural predator of us. It is a highly intelligent animal that we have befriended in the past, but can also break us like a twig. So you still get this rabid animal wanting to kill people, but there's still, if you've ever seen a person with rabies, go mad with rabies. There's video of it. You can see what the effects of rabies does to people. We still have a lot of our cognizance with us. We start to lose it as the disease progresses, but we do have a lot of wherewithal. But it starts to get warped and twisted. We get a lot more aggressive. We start to lose a lot more of our. We do start to lose a lot more of our cognitive ability to think. So you see that actually kind of progress with Ben, where there are still aspects of the Ben that loved his family in there, but it's marred by now like psychosis and just 36 hours plus of rabies in an intelligent animal. Ooh, not good, not good. Um, so you do get weirdly a little bit of sympathy when it comes to Ben. Like it's not. You can tell that Ben was loved and that he did love them, but the one other issue I might say with the movie is we don't get enough time to really sympathize and like Ben in order for us to feel any sort of bad for Ben. To be fair, I think that might be the point. I think that might be the point that we don't get a lot of time with Ben being part of the family. So we cannot feel bad when what ultimately happens with Ben. So I think that might be on purpose, to be fair. That said, I said this out of the theater. They earned that R rating. Oh, they earned that R rating in the first 5 minutes. Trust me, there's a lot of face death, a lot of head and like the majority of the gore is all face and head related. To be fair, and like all in this general area. And oh man, did they do some go? You go ooh in a couple scenes. But they also play real good with tension in this movie. Like there are scenes where it is just stone cold quiet, and especially when you're dealing with like a character who might be deaf, like the father is. He's not hearing anything. So when you're wondering, like, oh god, what's going to happen? Or other scenes where it's just there's no soundtrack and Ben is just lurking. And you're wondering if these people are going to make it out of here alive. It gets scary at point. Like it does. Like the effects work on Ben. You can tell throughout 99% of it is a guy. Not even 90. You can tell it's a guy in a suit. You know it is a guy in a suit. As far as chimp effects go, like live action chimp suits go, this is better than say like Amy in the Congo. It's not a bad effect. It's not a bad suit. You can still tell you're not looking at an actual real chimp, but it's good enough that you believe let me put it this way again, in a different way. You can believe you're watching a chimp, but if you look at it for too long, you'll be like, no, that's a guy in a suit. And they definitely, I think, are doing some forced perspective in a lot of shots, because there are shots where it looks like just a guy standing in a suit. It does. To be fair, if you've ever seen a chimpanzee stand up, they're about like 4 feet high, or tall when they actually fully stand up. But no, this looks like a guy like 5'6" or something like that. Maybe not a 6-foot guy. No, they probably did get a shorter actor, to be fair. But other times it looks like the chimp is in the proper proportions. They very rarely use any CGI on Ben except for like his face to get some of the like emotion or reactions. But otherwise, like the chip effect is solid, and so I mean, it does what it needs to do. It's bloody, it's gory, it's tense. As the movie's going on, I am hoping that the girls do make it out. I didn't care about them that much to begin with. I didn't hate them, like I said. The sisters are fine, whatever. The friends are fine. The two douchebags you see in the trailer, though, they're just there to die. They are just there to die. But more to the point. As the movie's going, you do hope for at least some of these characters to get out of there. And that leads me to something I brought up in the out of the theater reaction, but I want to extrapolate a bit more on here. This film, it does something I kind of really enjoy. Because this film is marred by people just making really poor decisions. But then the movie's almost calling them out for it. For example, there's a scene, the very opening scene is the one thing that no one really, that's like doesn't have any justification. I get that it's a family doctor for Ben. I get that. But but I don't care. You have an assistant with you, okay? You have someone with you. When there's a chimp who could break you or do what he does to him, and you just go in there alone at night, not knowing what may be wrong with him. I'm sorry. That's just stupid. That's just Oh, well, we know he's going to die. Like, that's just bad decision making. And it's the one bad decision that gets made that nothing's ever really brought up with it. But then other things. Other things. For example, there's a scene in the movie where the dad is, like I said, he's a writer. And he's at this, press tour or whatever. And he gets a phone call from getting results from the mongoose. And they say, is this a joke? He's tested positive for rabies. And he said, is it possible? That's not possible. We live in Hawaii. There's no rabies. Which I had to look up is actually true. Because they're so strict on importing, there are no rabies in Hawaii. Save for something like being imported or whatnot, a foreign animal coming in, like the mongoose. With that said, I'm sorry if an animal bites your animal. I don't care if there's not a single track record of rabies in there. You make sure to get that thing tested for rabies. You give them rabies vaccinations, rabies shots right from the get. And I do like the fact that the person responds with, oh, thank you for your veterinarian expertise. The sample must have gotten contaminated. We'll retest. And now they never come back and say, yeah, it's rabies. Jesus Christ. But it's like, guy, come on. I get that you were in Hawaii where rabies is a rare occurrence. But that does not make it an impossibility. And with a chimp it's one thing for it to be a dog. Dogs are intelligent, but if a dog goes rabid, like there's not much thinking once the dog really goes rabid that you can do there. But with a chimp that is highly intelligent and has problem-solving capabilities, no, you ASAP that shit. So I'm so glad someone kind of called him out for being stupid about that. But then there's other things where I'm like, okay, I'll push him off the ledge. Right? Like you see they're stuck in a pool. I mean, they're kind of stuck in the pool for a giant chunk of the film. And one guy tries to push Ben off the ledge. And I'm like, well, no, that's not going to work. And then he goes, I'm like, that didn't, and like, sure enough, like, oh no. And then we saw just how much that did not work. So it's this film is so unique and that is marred by bad decision making that actually kind of the movie calls out. It just says, oh yeah, here's the consequences of your bad decision making. So I actually really appreciated the film for that. The last thing I'll say is when we get to the end and like the survivors come and or survivors are surviving and the doctors are coming to get them and all that and treat them. I'm watching this like, I'm sorry, I'm not saying who ultimately survives, but there's a group, and one of the sisters gets bit by Ben, so obviously she gotta be treated for rabies, and she's got a massive bite and a claw mark on her back. But I see the other people who have survived. I'm like, that chimp beat on you mercilessly multiple times. You have broken or fractured bones. You probably have internal bleeding. You do not get to just be walking this shit off. No. So, is it a perfect movie? God, no, it's not a perfect movie. It's a film about a rabid chimp. I was not expecting Shakespeare killer animal movies. But for an entertaining horror movie in January, it did its job. I was entertained. I was enjoying it. It's got a good couple scares. It's actually building some good tension throughout it. So yeah, I enjoyed the film quite a bit. If you want a fun horror movie, this is definitely better than Five Nights at Freddy's, that's for certain. I'd recommend this movie, absolutely. Trailers. I think we got something called Psycho Killer, which is coming. It says next year. It's like, no, you mean this year. Psycho Killer, so that's one. Silent Hill, which I don't really care about. I might be there depending on what's coming out that week. Psycho Killer is like, studying the mind of like a psycho killer, basically. A cops try to, solve the case. Kind of like Long Legs a little bit, but, different. That new one from Shudder, I think it is, Undertones, where it's basically a podcast and they're listening to like supernatural, incidents. But, eventually, apparently, hearing it is what brings the supernatural entity to you. So that's interesting. I'm surprised we didn't get a trailer for The Strangers Chapter 3. I would have thought, given the horror nature of things, that would have been uh, on the list. Let me just see if I can remember any other horror movies we got the trailer for here. Didn't get 28 Years Later. Oh, that Obsession from Blumhouse. I'm still not 100% sure what that film's even about, but I mean, okay, it's something. Clearly, it's whatever we know is whatever. What we do know is it's a wish. He made a wish. He made her fall in love with him, and clearly something is going wrong with the wish. Like he didn't quite understand what the wish was. Oh, that so yeah. So that's we'll see what'll happen there. But that have fun, good luck, have fun, don't die movie. Where like oh God, not Sam Neill. Not Sam with God damn it. Why am I blanking on his name? Not Sam Worthington. Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell. Yeah, that looks like it's just kind of fun. And then we got one called The Passenger. Man, was I did. Oh, okay. You want to know my problem with a trailer? Let me see here. The Passenger. Hold on. Passenger. Which, not the, yeah, there's a movie called The Passenger from 2023, but there's a different one coming out this year, 2026. Yeah, The Passenger 2026. Hold on. Okay. First of all, it looked like they just used goddamn AI in the trailer, which, like, what the fuck? Like, it literally looked like an AI generated, like, ghost creature in there. Like, what the hell? They don't even give you a plot synopsis of this movie, only telling you that it comes out May 29th. Okay, so if you haven't seen this trailer, here's my problem. It's two buddies on this dark, desolate, like, woods road. One guy has to go take a leak, comes back, finds out the car's kind of wrecked, messed. His buddy's disappeared. His buddy ends up and he's hearing like things cracking noises, and he like his buddy gets thrown through the window, so he has to drive, and he keeps seeing this person standing on the road, just. I'm like, okay. And then finally, like on the last pass, it appears as the passenger and like goes, Rah! I'm like, okay, that's a jump scare. That kind of worked, sure, but right out the gate, I am like, I had now no longer have any interest in the movie because I thought you were going to go more creature feature on this movie. I thought you were going to go that route. A Jersey Devil, Beast of Bray Road, something in the woods. No, it's a fucking ghost. Fuck you. Like, I say this because as a horror movie guy, I don't love supernatural movies, I'm going to be honest. I don't really love killer movies that much. What I do like is the nature type of killer movies. I don't mind a natural disaster movie. They're usually horror movies, they're more natural disaster. But I like a killer animal movie or a creature, a monster movie. Something like that. And something that can really kind of give you a creature like, what is this thing? What is it doing? Why is it functioning like this? This is why I kind of like B movies like Tremors a lot, because it's like, first off, unique creature design, but you're constantly learning more and more about the creatures as the movies goes on. But yeah, it's like, no, it's just a ghost. It's an evil spirit of some kind. Whoa. Some supernatural monster of whatever. Like, just a big fat. You're just a big fat phony. That's what you are. You're just a big fat phony. Like, it just annoys the hell out of me. Really, really does. You can tell I'm actually kind of like annoyed by this. I'm like, oh, okay, we got some cool monster. Oh, and again, that jump scare was fine. But it looked so AI generated. It really, look, I'm someone who's never really been all that upset with the whole advent of AI. I don't give that much of a rat's ass, if I'm going to be honest. Because as long as people aren't abusing AI and just getting rid of jobs with AI, I'm really not, I'm really not all that worried about it in the grand scheme of things. And my girlfriend just can't seem to understand why I'm not worried about it. But I'm just like, look, I do get it to some degree. I do. And I do understand. I understand the worry. Let me put it this way. I do understand the worry. I do. I'm just personally not worried. I feel like we're actually going to be able to navigate it fine in the long run. And I feel like it's just the way kind of we are trained as a society and as people, where we see something new and we don't understand it, and it does scare us about what the potential is for it. And we have seen examples of where AI can go wrong. But this is one of those first times where I feel like, and maybe they didn't use AI. I'm just saying it looked like AI. That's the problem for me. It looked like AI. So yeah, it's just a bunch of, it's just a bleh, 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 and I know I now no longer have any interest in this movie whatsoever. What's coming out that week? Hold on, give me 1 second. What is actually coming out the week of the 29th? Is that the only thing, or will there be like something that like comes out the previous week I can see instead, or is there something else coming out the week of the 29th of May? Was it May or March? I think it was May. Yeah, May. Okay. Let's see here now. Yeah, that's the only thing coming out there. But let me see here. Throughout May, oh God, Devil Wears Prada 2, The Sheep Detectives, Mortal Kombat 2. Okay, that's 2 films I can go see. What? It's just Top Gun coming back to the screen? I think that's what it is. Obsession is God. I'm sorry. What? What? It's an adaptation. Okay. But is it of the book? In which case, all right. Twin sisters were severely burned as infants in a fire that left them with permanent scars. Each one of them began a quest for revenge to confront their family history in the process. I'm guessing it's based off a book. It doesn't say what's adapted. It just says it's adapted. Okay, it stars Tessa Thompson, K. Brown, Viv Gay. I mean, it's got a good cast to it. Is God Is. I'm assuming it's based off a book, and I'm assuming the title makes sense for what's in the book. But I'm sorry, that sentence don't sentence in my mind, or that title don't title in my mind. Is God Is. I'd even say God is. Yeah, no. Again, I'm sure if someone knows the book, they'll be able to correct me about why it works. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm finding it. I personally am finding it not working for me. Just in terms of like my brain being able to process it, if I'm going to be honest. But whatever. Wait a minute. What? Okay, One Night Only. I thought for a second I was seeing another movie in August calling Only Night Only. I'm like, another one? Or One Night One or something like that. Anyway, though, let's see. What is coming out this following week? I could have seen Greenland too, but I was going to go see the Monkey movie instead. This following week, we got 28 Years Later. The Bone Temple. That's really the only thing I'm going to really be at. Pretty sure it's the only thing we got in wide release. Maybe. I'll see if there's anything else. And then after that, we got Mercy, which I am actually interested in Mercy. Return to Silent Hill, which I really am not interested in. Let's see. And then the following last week, we got Melania. Nope. The Moment, which I don't know what that one is about. Send Help, which I am looking forward to Send Help. Arise Pop Sensation, Charlie. Oh, it's about Charlie XCX. Okay, I do remember seeing that now. And Iron Lung, which is apparently based off a game. And it's Markiplier. If I'm not mistaken, it's the YouTuber Markiplier's first film. It's his first. I believe he's starring in it and everything. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Markiplier himself is playing the guy in the like diving bell. So yeah, the Iron Lung, if you will. So and yeah, I'm interested. I didn't play the game, but the minute I saw the poster, I'm like, what's this about? And I saw like the whole like how the game ends and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. All right, I'm down. But anyway, it's so good for Markiplier for not just branching, because I used to watch Markiplier stuff for a while. For actually kind of like doing like the Chris Stuckman, being able to actually branch out and kind of start to do something in the movie world. Like, good for you guys, honestly. Like I look, I wish I had either the drive or the finances to be able to even try to pursue something like that. But as it stands, A, I don't like to travel much, and B, I am happy where I live. I would have to go out of my way to go to Hollywood and all that, and even just try to make an attempt. And I just don't want to do that. My life is here, and I'm happy with my life being here. So, and look, I still get to talk about movies, all that. So I'm not unhappy with where I ended up. Did I have aspirations at one time being an actor? Yeah, I did. Am I upset that I did not become an actor? Not really. Do I think about what life would have been like if I was? Sure, but I'm happy ultimately. So anyway, I just went on a long tangent. I did my review like 6 minutes ago. Anyway, Primate, good time. Go see it if you want a good horror movie.